Red alert! Set an intention. Go to Salon Trek.
We're also thrilled to announce that we now serve Raktagino.
Blah!
Ahoy, hoy, friends, and welcome to the Salon. I'm your host, Stan Williams, and go ahead and put this ass on trial. I felt the way Anisha did for a little bit. Welcome. Tonight, all the podcast things. It is Thursday. It's close enough to 6:30 p.m., so we're live on YouTube. We are at Salon Trek in nearly all of the places. What used to be called Twitter, it's dying. We're still there for a minute. We are on Bluesky. We are on all of the podcast places at Salon Trek, wherever you get that nonsense. And if you're over on Instagram, we are at the Salon Trek. So go ahead and give us a follow. If you want to support the podcast, you can throw a couple of dollars our way and get some fun benefits you see on your screen now. We also still have a few free months at the $5 level available. You just join at the free level and a post will appear with a link to click and take one of the few spots that are left. So check it out. We've got some fun bonus episodes available at that level. And we appreciate the support to help cover the costs of the salon. Tonight, we are discussing the incredible season finale of Star Trek Starfleet Academy, Rubincon. Teleplay by Alex Kurtzman and Kirsten Beyer. Story by Noga Landau and Gaia Violo. Directed by Olatunde Osunsanmi. Can't wait to talk about it. But before we do, an Athena beauty shot. Fucking love this ship. And a quick programming note. Next week, as we are wont to do following a season of Star Trek, we are going to do a full season review, and we will be joined by a special guest, friend of the pod, Matt Jennings will be here with us. You know him from 1701, A Blurred Story, and the overall Trek universe out there on socials. And you probably saw him at FanFest if you were able to go last year, in Command on the Bridge. And we are excited to have him with us next week. So join us, 6:30 p.m. next Thursday. All right, another ship beauty shot. Let's get into this episode and talk about this incredible season finale. In order to do that, I got to beam in the crew. Trevor is unfortunately on the other side of the Omega 47 wall and won't be able to join us, but stepping in again to set up the intention setter in a bit is Joanne, my substitute number one, but still number one in all our hearts. How you do?
I'm guilty.
Guilty of being fucking fierce. Speaking of being fierce, the best number two deuce there is. Will, how you do?
I'm good. I'm number two in everyone's hearts.
Speaking of hearts, welcome back, Ken. How you do?
Wait, I need to pee.
Oh. Speaking of golden showers, here's Matt. I'm so sorry.
Wow.
The segue is what the person said beforehand, and there you go.
Sorry,
No,
Matt.
it's fine.
Matt,
It's
how
fine.
you do?
Well, I was better before that.
Well, speaking of better than that, here's Krista. Krista, how you do?
I peed before I came to the bridge.
And we thank you. Bridging the cultural divide across our northern border. Here's Benji. Benji, how are you?
Good. I'm peeing in my lower third.
Thank you. And y'all, I have some exciting news. The Rubens have glue-oned, and that Omega wall has come down, and we have Trevor.
Wow.
I peed on the plane.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna be delayed. I can't be there.
Nice.
It's a good thing we were late. I'm so glad you're here, Trevor.
I am glad as well.
Well, That
Well,
throws everything
go.
off, I guess.
Well,
Here we
shit.
are. Well,
Damn it, we're
Well,
going to talk
Now
about
Joanne and
you.
Trevor have to fight. Play the
Yes.
play the
Oh, yeah.
opening music.
Dun, 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 whoa,
I need that as a ringtone.
Yeah.
a little
with
mock
that.
time going
Oh,
on.
$9.99.
Well, if the
At the salon store.
intentions weren't already set, it's time to do it.
This is obvious, but don't forget to set an intention when you light it, or you're just going to be wasting the wax.
Fight, 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 fight.
Dun, 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 dun. Bum,
I would
bum.
never. I would never. So yeah, I get to set intentions tonight, which is super fun. I have to remember what the intention setter was. Actually,
Ooh.
I do remember. I remember. I was quick on the
Joanne, do you want to remind him?
Joanne, you should ask, and then I'll go around. I'll start, but you can ask the question.
Well, I have to read it. But our intention setter tonight is, which parent or parents of a Trek character would you like to see featured in an episode?
As always, I will start us off. I don't know. It feels right. It still feels right. I'll start us off by sharing. I'm cheating. I'm cheating at my own question, and I'm just gonna say Loaxana. I just want an entire. I don't want anyone else in the episode. I just want a Loaxana episode. I'm sad we never got one. I'm sad they tried to shoehorn her into DS9 in a really weird way that made the character not as fun. But yeah, I in fact kind of want a Loaxana 30-minute sitcom, and that's my answer, and I'm sticking to it. Let's go around the room. Benji, I'm glad you didn't pee yet. What is your answer?
I'm holding on. I want to know more about Lady Moog, the lady whose name we don't even know what it is, despite having the character who's been in Star Trek the most, Worf. We have no idea what his mother's name was, who she was, what she was like. Was she a badass? Was she a rebel? Was she a warrior? Was she like Worf? Was she like Alexander? Who is this mysterious Lady Moog? That's who I want to come up somewhere.
Mrs. Moog. I love it. What if Loaxana and Mrs. Moog were like detectives and they
That's a great name for a series.
Loaxana and Mrs. Moog. Ken, my love.
Oh, parents. Oksana and Mrs. Moog, meet Cagney and Lacey. So I would say, even though it was Strange New Worlds doing this, I would love to see what Uhura's parents were like before the shuttle.
Oh, that's a good answer.
Yes.
I like that one a lot. I wish we had gotten a flashback that wasn't just their death. Like, you're right. That would have been nice to see what they were like and explore them a little more. Speaking of exploring, Matt?
I actually would love to see an episode, and maybe we'll get it. It's still a potential. I would like to see more with Genesis.
Genesis?
Admiral Dad. Her Genesise Admiral Dad. I want to know, like, I'm always, you always wonder, like, is he a badmiral? Is he more like, is he a Tom Paris dadmiral type thing? Is it, you know, I want to know more about her. And
or is he like Vance and he's a Zadmiral?
Or he's a Zaddy, yeah. Zadmiral, Dadmiral, Badmiral?
So many options. We need to know. Looking at you, Starfleet Academy. Krista.
Yeah, I couldn't really think of anyone, so I thought I would go with my standard Jillian. Then I thought it might be interesting to investigate Beverly's entire family tree to see how those marriages navigated Ronan. But
how many other relatives have fucked ghosts?
How many other relatives have fucked the candle? So that could be interesting. So either way,
Terror by gaslight.
Water life life, moon life, whatever.
Candle life. I love it. Only I'm just concerned that no one would be able to stay awake during the episode because it's just whale song. It's just
You know what? But peaceful. But peaceful.
Yeah.
No one's gritting their teeth. So I think that's a win in today's world.
That's fair. Good answers. William.
I had two. The first one came to me after read the intention. I think it would be interesting to see Pike's parents, like what they were like, Captain Pike. I also thought it would be really funny to see Boimler's parents. I don't think we've ever mentioned them at all. Like, it would be funny to see where Boimler came from, if it's two like very competent parents and they raised the most anxious child on the planet. It would be really funny. But yeah, so I would, if I had to choose the two, I would go with Boimler. Actually, that would be a lot of fun.
One's a therapist, the other's a yoga instructor, and he's just
or like a somatic therapist, and like someone who like the mom like sells like essential oils. Like, it's one of those things, and they're just home is just like incense and a lot of oming, and he's over there just like chewing his nails. Yeah, that would be my interpretation of Boimler's.
Wait, that was one, but you said you had two.
Well, it was Pike.
Oh, Pike. That's right. You said that.
Joanne, pay attention. I'm talking. But
listen. I don't even know what time zone I'm in right now. Joanne,
pay attention.
Oh my God, Trev, keep it up.
I'm sorry. I'm such a disappointment.
That's why I stand. No, anyway. So my choice, I also thought about Boimler, even though I don't really like Lower Decks. But my choice is Gul Dukat. It was so interesting when we met Garrick's parents that I think it might be interesting to see what created that monster.
What went wrong?
Yeah, what went wrong? What went right? And he just rebelled. I don't know. In my mind, in my head canon, until we met Garrick's dad, I often thought, oh, wouldn't it be funny if they had the same dad? But I mean, and I guess that still could have been the case.
Yeah.
But yeah. So Gul Dukat.
I love it. Stan, say it to my face.
I have a boring answer, but it could be fun. Janeway. I would love to see more about her parents. I loved the autobiography and hearing about her grandparents and her parents. We saw a fake version of her father in that one odd episode of Voyager. Spoiler alert.
One odd episode?
Well, we'll get there during our Thumb Wars that are coming in a couple of weeks. So get excited for that. But yeah, Janeway's parents, I think, would be interesting to visit.
I still have questions about drowning under an ice cap, but that's a whole that was way too specific a death for a character that we only saw in one episode to not give more detail about.
Yeah. Well, on that note, the intentions are set. So get excited, everybody. I am so bummed that we only get 10 episode seasons. I loved this show. I can't wait to get into it. And so we're going to do that now. I will kick off the top thoughts. I loved this episode. I thought it was an excellent bookend to the season and to last week's episode. Not technically a two-parter, but kind of, and one of the better ones in the franchise. I think if this were a two-parter, technically, this would have been one of the better resolutions to a two-parter that we've seen. I thought we got so much quintessential Trekness in this episode. We got fleets, we've got beautiful establishing shots and ship action. We've got a maniacal villain. We have a trial episode. We got different people in command. We got sciencing and technobabble, which they've kind of avoided on this show up until now. I just loved it. I cannot wait to dissect this episode with y'all. I thought they did an incredible job, and I can't wait for season 2, and I really hope they get a 3 and a 4. Those are my top thoughts. Can't wait to get into it. Joanne, your top thoughts.
I really enjoyed it as well. I thought they really stuck the landing because, Star Trek is often not good at that. But I thought they paid off things fairly well. I, like you, thought this was very Trek. We saw the power of science, the power of friendship, the power of love, just, all the things. It was a magic girl. I mean, just lots of things happening. Um, and social commentary, just all of that. So I really, really enjoyed it. I loved um Janet Reno or Jet Reno. I'm like, Janet Reno, that's not right.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. I'm very old. Um, just being a teacher, and having a teachable moment, but still getting the job done. I fucking love a coach. And I did. I loved it. I have a few nitpicks, but overall, I thought they did a great job. William, my friend.
Yeah, I thought this was a really effective finale for the show. I think it if this is considered a two-parter, I mean, it does. Two-parters always have the kind of thankless job of tying up all of the fun chaos that the first part brings. So we see that, in a trilogy, the first one's always everyone's favorite. The second one, people kind of go okay, and then the third one, everyone kind of unilaterally hates or no one really enjoys. So I mean, it does it effectively. I think this episode, when it leans into the characters, I think it's strong. It finds its strength. It moves the story along. I've fortunately watched it last week's episode and this one kind of in succession, so I think that helped. I think on its own, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I don't think it's supposed to, but I think, like, we'll get into. I have other thoughts on it, but I think just generally speaking, I thought it was super strong. I think it closes an equally just as strong season, and I mean, yeah. If you hate this show, you're fucking stupid. Anyway, Krista.
If you hate the show, you're fucking stupid.
Period.
I enjoyed it. I think they nailed it. I think that the series overall is not served by only 10 episodes. And I think that I really wish that we could get another 2. I felt like it came to a complete end. So in the event that somehow a season 2 doesn't happen, it's still a complete story in and of itself. There's no dangling participles or anything like that. But I feel like the seasonal plot B of Orphan Black and Nahla and Giamatti, and I feel like that it opened with that, it ends with that, and I think it deserved a little bit more fleshing out because it seemed comparatively sort of easy pickings, and I don't want that to come across as being critical. I think that it's very difficult to tell a fully fleshed out A plot and B plot in 10 episode arc. I just think you have to pick your battles. And so some are going to come across as slightly more superficial than the others, but it's not a criticism of the writing or anything. I think they nailed it. I have a few nitpicks. I wish that Specialist Krause, or whatever his name is, would get his shit together with his Furby. Like, get it together. I loved the really, really obvious social commentary on this one and the allusions to what we are kind of existing through. And I like how the set was the atrium was the first thing they did as soon as they got a hold of it was destroy it. And I think that's very massive statement to the kind of life we're living right now. So take something beautiful and destroy it. because you have trauma. And I have thoughts on the traumas too, but overall, I'm looking forward to season 2. Matt?
I have to agree that I think this is I want to say this is like really strongly the first new Star Trek we've gotten in a while that I really think could do the full 23 episode season really well. I think that they know the writing, they know the pacing, they have the characters that are interesting enough to explore on their own and as like a whole menagerie. I think this is like it feels so good to be in this show, and it makes me so sad to think that like now we have to wait, because it feels like so much happened, but I want more. It left me wanting more, and like, okay, great, they've gone, like, we've wrapped this up, now what's next? Because it's so good constantly and consistently. I mean, every character is fantastic, minus, you know, the love interests that I really could not care less about. And even at the end, I was like, okay, you have next semester. But I loved it. I thought it was a great way to wrap everything up at the end. And ships. We love ships, Ken.
Oh, I hated this episode. No, I'm kidding. I thought it was good. I thought it was really good. I agree with everybody. They had to short shrift or even completely subtract some of the characters, like Caleb completely gone, Kyle completely gone. Even what's her name? The cadet master is only in there for half a second, right? So, and not in the episode last week at all. And she's one of the best characters. So I think it is telling that, they really need more episodes to make this show really sing the way it really should sing, the way it really deserves. I have to say that Caleb is not the most interesting cadet to me. And the fact that this is all anchoring around Caleb in such a big way, I think is a little bit disappointing, because I like the other characters, and the other characters become very, very secondary to Caleb. In this episode in particular, they are very much supporting cast in this episode, many of them. And that's a shame, because they all deserve a bigger spotlight, and you just can't do it. Even though this was a supersized episode at over an hour, 1 hour and 7 minutes, something like that. They still couldn't do it. What they need to do with all the other characters. I do like the fact that the Doctor got to shine, and I thought about Matt every moment the mobile emitter was on the screen. So that's my top thoughts.
Ta-da. I actually kind of had trouble connecting with this one a little bit. Like, I thought, I wasn't here last week to talk about episode 9, but like, I thought it was exceptional. I thought Tatiana Maslany was like 59% of why that episode was exceptional. They didn't lean into her as a character as much in this one. And I think I just sort of didn't quite get, like, every single episode of this season, like, has left me with like some kind of feels, and I didn't quite get feels with this. I think, like, maybe related to editing, like a lot of the moments didn't quite land for me. Like, like the opening title was really cool when the ship blows up and the title comes in, but I kind of, like, it should have been exciting, and I didn't find it as stunning as I think they intended. There's like a shot near the end, like a sweeping shot through the bridge where Sam starts screaming, which is really funny, but like it should have been a little tighter to their actual win. So things just sort of like weren't quite landing. Things weren't quite tight enough for me. What I think, though, is that this was a resolution, and that probably this weekend, when I watch like the entire series in one shot, I think it's going to feel like a really great ending and a proper part 2, and I'm probably going to be crying at the end. So that's what I felt.
Yeah, I kind of have a mix of everybody's feelings in terms of, I enjoyed the episode for the story, and I enjoyed what it did to wrap up the ongoing plot points, but I felt the same sort of disconnection. Like I wouldn't have described it that way until Benji did, and I'm like, yes, that's the word. Because there was something about the pacing that was weird, and I couldn't quite put my finger on it until it was over. And I'm like, okay, I liked it, but why did I keep kind of phasing in and out of it? And it just felt like the action scenes were one episode, and the not so action scenes were a completely different episode, and they were just sort of happening at the same time. And I'm not doing that just to keep true to form and speak negatively of a two-parter, I promise. Because it's not a negative, like, I don't hate the story. I thought the story was great. I thought it was a great wrap up. I agree with Krista. If for some weird reason there hadn't been a second season, or we hadn't gotten, to the season greenlit before this one ever aired, it would have actually made a great wrap up of just this story and these characters. And those are my top thoughts.
The banner was your idea.
Listen, the next thing I was about to say was going to take me like 4.5 minutes to finish, and I was just like, oh shit, okay, I'm done.
All right.
I'll squeeze it in. I'll squeeze it in.
Yeah,
later.
we've got plenty of time. I wanna talk about Caleb's mom first, because we've had the introduction in the pilot. We finally got back to her last episode, and now we get a resolution. I've been saying since week 2, this is going to be a twist. She's going to be Venari Rawl. It's actually her. And I started hedging my bets, especially last week when I clocked what to me looked like fear more than like, oh shit, these pesky kids and their little lanthanite are going to suss out my plan. But actual fear, they're going to send me back to prison. This fucking awful Federation is going to send me back to prison, and I'm going to lose my son again. I was worried last week that them not going the villain route would have been a little unsatisfying. And I've been asking myself why, and I've come to 2 things. Number 1, I love 90s Trek. I'm very nostalgic for it. It's what I grew up on. And so that's my Federation, my Starfleet. And so her fear and hatred of the Federation, I realized like I'm butting up against, because I forgot what great world building this show has done for post-burn Federation and why Nahla ends up resigning. And the second thing I realized I was butting up against was my own bias. Like, I am certainly not thriving, but I'm okay. And I'm generally happy. So when I see somebody commit a crime, I'm like, well, of course you're going to jail. And they acknowledge that it was a harsh sentence, but like, again, in my head, 90s Trek, like, she's being sent to New Zealand. But then I take a step back, put myself in her shoes. This woman is terrified of the Federation because post-burn Federation has left people like her behind. She is so desperate, she hitches her wagon to this pirate. Sadly, someone gets killed. It wasn't her fault. She was an accessory to it. And then she gets this crazy harsh sentence. They take her away from her son. And then on top of that, she says, don't trust them. But she didn't say run away. That was his, she said, don't trust them, I should run. So from her perspective, I think it's pretty easy to say, you not only put me in prison, but you lost my son. And so the execution of this episode and the trial and her rebuking Nahla's attempt to be like, he's okay, we got to be in this together, and her so like, no, you're guilty, bitch, really worked for me in a way that I wasn't expecting. I think they did an excellent job, and I'm curious y'all's thoughts on Caleb's mom and the resolution there. Matt?
I am so happy that they didn't make her like the secret little henchman that she could have been, because they could have easily done the kind of tropey thing of like, oh, she's actually been working with Noosh the whole time. I'm glad that like it felt like a very real story. Like, she had to fend for herself. She had to be doing it. Like, she got, like you said, caught on the wrong side of things, just trying to survive. And then she didn't really side with him. She got back with him because he was her best option, because clearly he is a huge option for a lot of people. That's why his entire, what are they? The
Venari Rawl.
I always
the
forget
Devanani Rawl.
Yeah, I always forget if that's his ship or if that's like the people. Anyway, the Venari Roll are clearly a large, like the Emerald Chain. Like it's a thing that people do because they need help. And I love what they did with. I had the same thing where you have to catch yourself. You're like, but no, it's the Federation. Like everyone knows they're cliche. They're so wonderful and accepting, but it's like, no, the Federation went fucking dark quick. And it reminded me of the one quote from Quark in DS9, like when backed into a corner, humans become as ugly and bloodthirsty as the most ravenous Klingons. And you see that, and that's what it is. And so it's so interesting to see that she truly is like, no, fuck you, you're guilty. She didn't say the Federation was guilty. She says you are guilty. And then he extrapolates that and gets excited because he didn't think she would actually say it. So I love what they did with her. I loved her whole arc. I love that she still doesn't trust at the end of it. It's not like everything's okay now. Everything's great. Like she's like, I'm still getting the hell out of here. You can come see me if you want to. You know I love you. We'll keep in touch. So I was really happy with how they did the whole thing.
And that's our show. No, Ken, go for it.
And that's all we have.
And that's it. Thank you, everybody. Good night. So I think that putting the Federation on trial obviously hasn't been done many times, mostly by Q, by putting humans on trial. But I do think that, look, they knew what they had. They had 3 incredibly powerful actors, right? And they let them go at it for that scene. And, you can't, if you've got Holly Hunter and Paul Giamatti and the third person I never can remember, but the
Tatiana Maslany.
Thank you. You've got those 3 in a room. You let them go, man, and they did a great job. And then any time that you put Holly Hunter and Paul Giamatti together this entire season, it was just phenomenal. And I do think that the mom's arc was really fascinating because it opens with her in this episode, as you saw in the flashbacks, and then it basically is her episode. Again, the sort of the scene with the Betazoid powers, I kept flashing back to Nemesis with Troy. I found you. You remember me? That's what I kept flashing back. But one thing I didn't get to say about that, I'm so bad with character names with these. The Betazoid cadet. This is off topic. Sorry.
Tiramisu.
Tiramisu. That's it. Tiramisu. She has.
And yes, it is off topic, but go for it.
Yeah, but she has Lawaksana vibes so much. A number of times in this episode, in this season, she struck me with Lawaksana vibes. Yeah.
She's especially not even a fraction as charismatic.
No, but
I don't think that's what he's saying. But like, I could see her 30 years down the line being a saucy minx.
Yeah.
Anyway, she crashes out 3 times.
Well, she already did once.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought that they used the mom's character arc right up to the point where she's like, I know you're coming back. And the dynamic with her and with Ake was just really great. It was a very, very good arc. But yes, it was the quiet arc as opposed to the loud arc. And they definitely had a quiet arc and a loud arc in this episode.
Any other thoughts on the single mom who works too hard? Let's go to Kristen, then Joanne.
No, Joanne was far more excited. Go ahead.
Let's go to Joanne and then Krista.
I think, Stan, you made a great point in that this is not your mama's Star Trek, right? And not your mom's Federation. And I thought Ake did a great job of kind of just establishing that with her. But I love the fact that, like, I love a bitch who will hold a grudge. And she's just like, she heard all of that and was like, you're guilty, and I hope you and I hope you die in hell. No, it just I appreciated the fact that they didn't go the, oh, you saved my boy and I'm into you, and oh, look, you really do love him and now I love you. That she was just like, no, and that I appreciated too that Ake owned it, like, bitch, I'm dead. I'm dead, Chadich already. I'm dead. Get out. So I know, deep cut, but I appreciated the fact that they didn't lean into like, oh, we're best friends now because we love Caleb. That they both were like, we're on different sides of the coin, right? And I might like you, come to like you, but I probably won't, and that's okay. So I appreciated that.
A friendly wave and a toss to Krista.
Yeah, my opinion on the mother hasn't changed really. She's just there. What I thought was really interesting about that entire scene, for me, what I got out of it was just kind of a series of, I know you are, but what am I? Like every single accusation was given another accusation reasoning for why this was okay because you did this first, and I know you are, but what am I? And I thought what was really interesting about it was that there really, it didn't seem to matter until Ake was kind of like, all right, yes, I'm responsible for all of this, but let's talk about this mining that you did on your planet. Let's talk about what your dad did. Let's talk about, so if we're gonna, I know you are, but what am I? Let's go and start talking about your dad. And that's when the whole foundation of his propaganda argument just completely falls apart. And what I liked about that was that that's when he started losing people, and it stopped being about who caused what to do what and when, and it became more about who's more likely to be telling the truth in this situation, who's more likely to be accountable. And Ake was really the only one in the room that was willing to be accountable, whether it was her fault or not, whether there was a preceding action that warranted her action. And I liked that she pointed out that the pilot that she helped kill, or that ended up dead, also had children, also had, like, it doesn't happen in isolation. These things have metastasizing effects, and not all of them are good, and it doesn't get better. And I particularly, I actually thought it was really funny that the Gen X aged people, their trauma was exercised through like violence and resentment. And
when
like,
has that ever happened in real life?
And then the young people were like, their trauma was being exercised through like companionship, wanting to be a part of something. It was
honest conversation.
Yeah, so like the disparity between the two was just so interesting that it somehow, and they probably didn't mean to do it, but it somehow really represented the disparity between the Gen X people right now who are like, we're done, and everybody else that is like, wait a minute, we have to work towards something better, and we can nurture and grow during this process. The Gen X people, they were not necessarily interested in growing. They were interested in vengeance. They were interested in retribution. They were interested in punishment, not necessarily justice. And I think that's a pretty interesting commentary on our real life. Like, if we're going to look at that through the viewpoint of the show, that's a very interesting viewpoint to have.
And I remember we talked about this on the pilot as well. Vance was giving a very honest, like, we did our best, but shit is fucked. It's like, it's theirs now. And it wasn't like a generation versus generation. It was just like, here was our perspective. Here's what we did. Here's the mess we need to help them with, etc. It was a a good juxtaposition, similar to what you were just saying. And I know Trevor was going to throw caution to the wind and take us.
Just on the whole Mrs. Mirror of it all, I didn't enjoy. I realized we only got snippets of her in that first episode, and so I can't like judge her entire ability to perform based on don't trust them as she's being dragged out of the room, and that's it. But I was not fully prepared, mostly because I didn't watch She-Hulk. Forgive me. I was not fully prepared for her ability. I didn't. I've been incredibly impressed with Sandro's ability to be thrown into scenes with Holly Hunter and Paul Giamatti and not be a distraction. Like, he's holding his own with these two incredible performers. So not necessarily knowing Tatiana's work, I was like, okay, what is this going to be like? Because I thought I would just be staring at the hideous wig. And that isn't what I was staring at. I forgot the wig was there. Like, my inner will was like, bitch, that wig, when she wasn't talking. But the minute she opened her mouth, I forgot the wig was there. And that was impressive to me. I thoroughly enjoyed her ability to actually change her mind with her face. Like, she was telling me she was changing. You watched the character progression just with what she was able to deliver, and it was phenomenal. So I just had to share because I was impressed and didn't expect to be.
All right, it's time to go on trial. But before we do, let's grease the gander. I don't remember what that phrase is. I want to talk quickly about propaganda. The allegory was allegorying, and like, I almost hate to conjure this up, but billionaires are not going to watch this. Like, I'm terrified that the new overlords of Paramount Bros are going to take this as I interpreted it and think, well, we got to get rid of this because our daddy isn't going to like it. Hopefully they're too stupid to notice, but the allegory was allegorying with this propaganda on the screen. I want to read a couple of these because this was fucking hilarious. The Federation is compromised. Leaders and civilians alike are trying to flee the Federation space. If this does not reek of OAN and talking points nonsense and Fox News, there were a couple of here that I thought were particularly interesting. Vance threatens military junta if Federation President Rillick fails to approve naval aggression. Free States join Venari rally behind leadership. News Braca hosts the trial of the century aboard the Athena, a gaudy treasure of the pompous Federation. And then just a couple more. A claim that New Kronos signals a willingness to join the Venari Rawl, harkening back to episode 4, putting News Braca hailed as hero. If, like, the propaganda around this trial, and even the, like, we're going to put you on trial and everybody will see transparency. You know, every accusation is secretly a confession. Oh boy, the world be rough right now, and I have needed this hopeful show to highlight this bullshit, the cognitive dissonance that we've seen in the real world. Thoughts on the trial, everybody?
Temper tantrum throwing baby. I covered it for me.
Yeah.
Is this who we really want? Temper tantrum throwing man child. Because that's where he is. That's where he's stuck.
Trigger happy man child that's afraid. Weird.
Krista touched on this with respect to the atrium. The whole scene was giving me Capitol Riot vibes. So, yeah.
I mean, the second they got a hold of the thing that they hate and envy in equal measure, they trash it.
Mm-hmm.
They just fucking trash it. And it's, again, that is a temper tantrum baby thumper move, but also it's the move of an intellectual infant. Sorry, but it is a person who can't think beyond, this upset me. And again, it's mirrored when Reno is talking to Caleb and saying, this isn't about somebody sent you an unhappy, emoji, pull your pants up. We don't have time for any of this. Shit is real. And you have to learn to tell the difference between, something that is really dire and something that is just not to your liking. There's a difference. And if it's not to your liking, that doesn't mean that you get to impose it. I think it's interesting, Stan, that you sort of suggested that Caleb's mom was fine, really didn't have a choice, and she may not have had a choice. And I think even in that statement, I think it's kind of ironic that you made the statement, because it sort of absolves her of, because she had no other choice, she's going to she shouldn't really be as punished as badly, or shouldn't suffer the consequences as badly. And I think I personally would argue with a person who made the choice to vote a certain way or whatever, and then found they had an ectopic pregnancy that they couldn't have dealt with, and ooh, now we're really mad. These things are consequences. And I think the argument in the atrium was about everybody was accountable for their actions, and everybody's actions affected everybody else's actions. No action was better than anyone else's, and they're not going to get any better unless we acknowledge them, each take our portion, and either go to our own sandbox or just step out of the way and let those that are younger and smarter and more inclined to work with one another and to take things seriously that we no longer take seriously, let them go. In other words, move the boomers and all of these people my age, get out of the way. It's time for younger people to come up and do what they're going to do. And I think that's really, they're moving into their second year, and it's got very convoluted and pretty political. And I think everybody knows what I'm trying to say, but yeah, fuck Trump.
And there goes our monetizing of this week's episode. God damn it! No, it's I'm kidding. But no, I'm glad you challenged that interpretation, because I should clarify. The way that they have executed her story gives me some more empathy for her. And I agree with what Nahla has said, that the sentence was too harsh, even in a harsher time. Certainly needed to face consequences for her actions. But this also made me think about Discovery Season 4, where President Rillick says about Book, the reasons matter. Like, why he took the action he did matters. And that takes place just a few years before this. So it's post burn, fair sentencing. He basically gets sentenced to community service in spite of his crimes. That had it been 15 years earlier, like with Anisha, would have been just prison. So that's where I'm getting at. Like, the recognition that the sentence was too harsh. It should have been community service, similar to what Caleb was given the opportunity for. Like, we know that it's established in the pilot that he had committed a couple of crimes, theft of a shuttle, like a couple of other breaking and entering. You were caught by this group that is now going to put you to work that will kill you, or your sentence can be service, and that service can be through Starfleet. I want more. So more of that, more of restitution, less prison industrial complex. Ken?
So I think that, like most Star Trek, this episode worked on a number, and this season worked on a number of different levels. I mean, everyone calls this sort of the young adult Star Trek, and this was very much very parent driven. The whole season was very parent driven, with Caleb with his two moms in this case, and you saw that dichotomy come really, really into full crystallization in this final episode between Nahla and his mother. And you had two adults who were trapped being a little kid, right? So you had Noose Braca, who was trapped being a little boy, and Nahla calls him out on that. And the entire season, you had Caleb Muir trapped being a little boy, thinking about, that moment where he was still that 13-year-old or that 8-year-old boy. So they drew the parallels, I thought, incredibly well with the Noose Braca character and with the Caleb Muir character. They both had issues with their inner selves, their younger selves, and how they handled it and how they had a support system around them mattered, right? So Nahla Aki, being a boomer, a 400-plus-year-old boomer, she was there to support. And so he had the support system around them, his friends, his chosen family, and he was able to ultimately rise up above that. And that, Tig Notaro was unbelievable in this episode, unbelievable. And so, Jet Reno doing what she did and calling him on his bullshit. Nobody ever called Noose Braca on his bullshit until now. And it took, Aki to do it. And you saw him basically saying, no, my dad, and can't be wrong. And having been someone who lost my dad at a very young age, and that my dad had many, many challenges, if someone were to come to me and said, your dad messed up, my first instinct would be like, shut the fuck up, which is what Braca was saying here. But he was trapped in his own iteration of history. And Caleb was trapped in his own iteration of history until his family saved him. Nobody saved Braca. And I thought that this was a great parallel through the whole season of telling this story, both as a Star Trek allegory and as a young adult show allegory. I think it was great.
Yeah. And shout out to your dad, who did not commit war crimes, but actually helped with space exploration.
Yes, you did. Thank you.
Mirroring Noose Braca slightly, but in the good way. I also love that the trial ended with science. And two quotes. Well, there is no Starfleet anthem, but what a good suggestion. Chef's kiss. Fucking love it. And then call him out on his bullshit with Caleb's speech and like, okay, you took chemistry this year or whatever. What color are our phasers? Like literally broke it down. And the I see you gesticulating, Matt. Calm down. We'll get to the weapons in a minute. Yes, they're no longer red, and we got a fun little thing. I love your smile. Look at that. He's so excited to talk about the weapons being blue now. I love that it ended with him screaming about propaganda and like, no, it's science. In my head, I thought, no, masks work. Like, the allegory was allegorying everybody, and I fucking love it. Matt, go for it.
Matt, talk about pew pews. Go.
All right, so I was really excited because you had that moment that they knew this is what I loved. It was a little detail when he was like, it rained red down on the planet. And in your head, as I think most Star Trek fans are going to be like, oh, photon torpedo. They photoned, because then you're thinking like, oh, damn, like the Federation really did like get dark after the burn. Like that's rough that they like retaliated that much just to defend their supply lines, because you're like, oh, it's photon torpedoes red. And then you get we always talk about this, we always say, oh, it could have been fixed with one line of dialogue, but they finally gave us that one line of dialogue of Federation weapons, at least in the past 100 or so years, have all been either blue or green. So we find that we have switched the basis of what we use. It's obviously, clearly, it's not Nadion radiation anymore, but like whatever.
Put some glasses on and push them up, you nerd.
I should have them here, but like clearly we have a different type of phased energy that we're using, and I mean quantum torpedoes
Clearly
seem okay. Listen, we are a Star Trek show. I'm going to speak in universe in Star Trek. Okay, I'm not going to feel bad about this. I just was so excited that we finally. It was one of those nerdy things where I was finally like, yes, they're explaining it. They set you up. They set us up, the nerds up, to be like, well, yeah, it was red. Oh my God, they're not red anymore. And it is like a thing. It's not just Discovery wanted to change something because it was fun. We have developed a new technology, and now it is known for not being that. So it almost was one of those like, hey, by the way, we don't use photon torpedoes anymore. Like, it helped set the whole thing apart, and I just loved it. I did. I loved it, and I loved her being able to be. He's like, no, it's lies, and she goes, no, it's science.
And real quick, I saw Ken coming in. I'm going to steal it from you. Phasers were blue in the original series.
No, that's not what I was going to say. I was going to say
that would have been good.
They were blue in the original show. Yes, they were different colors in the original show. But I was going to say, talk about hanging a lantern on a line. How they very quickly took out the concept of the Discovery jumping in and saving the day. I thought that was kind of a little bit stupid because I mean the spore drive never had any problems going anywhere, but I understand why they did it. They said no.
But again, they're one line of dialogue. They explain it,
right.
And because we were talking about this before, like it could have been a fun hero moment, like the Titan warping in, the Enterprise warping in. I'm kind of glad that they didn't do it because it's a little tropey at this point for a different hero ship to warp in just in time, and this shows its own thing, like letting it rest on its own laurels.
I will say, I really loved the explanation that they gave was literally just this circuitous like word vomit of subspace over and over.
We got technobabble this episode.
We did.
Finally.
And what I loved is that they literally the explanation of why Discovery wasn't there was so much more babble than it was techno. And it actually, at first I was like, oh, this is dumb. And then I watched it again and I was like, you know what? The writers were like, we can't. Like, she's not. It almost reminded me of the Lower Decks episode where they're like, well, why can't we just warp around it? And everyone's like, no, Dr. Aaron says we can't.
I fucking love that moment.
Yeah.
Season 2, yeah. But we did see Discovery at the end through the atrium window, looking beautiful over Beta Z.
But not in the outside fleet. I was surprised about that. I was surprised. I thought they would have like put her in there to like kind of have a moment, but
She was busy.
I will also say, speaking of bridging into ships a little bit, so Matt came over last night and watched it with me, and I'm sure he'll talk about it next week too. This was how I think, and because we watched Sacrifice of Angels right after this, because we were on a ship fleet kick. There's a way to do copy and pasting fleet like scenes like this well, and they did it well. It makes sense that you have multiples of the same ships. We just don't need all of them to be
200
the same.
of them.
I don't mind if there's 4 different types of ship and we see like 35 of them and there's 4 of each. They did a really good job of like having, and we saw some scale in this one, which we haven't seen since DS9 really. Like we saw some really good like world building. They did such a good job. We see, the new Intrepid class is smaller than we thought. We see that the Athena is actually a fairly small ship, all things considered. I love
still massive.
And we also find out in the last 2 episodes that those like feathery things are not the nacelles. The nacelles, the Athena herself, the actual ship, actually looks more like a deconstructed Constitution class more than anything else.
Boo boo, it's an owl.
The feathery things are the nacelles. They just have reserved nacelles in the saucer.
Yeah.
No,
The
The
nacelles
nacelles
are-
are under. The
things
nacelles are under the
not.
feathery
Cells are
things.
underneath of it.
Look
It
at your
says-
screen, Boo Boo. There's a blue line here. Those are called warp coils. If we're gonna
Those
nerd
are
it out, we're nerding
Part
out.
of the feathery thing.
But if
Yeah.
No, they're
no,
underneath
No,
it.
they run underneath.
yeah, there's only two of them, and
Their
they go
feathers are
underneath.
called like a nacelle
But that's-
housing. So like
Yeah.
they
Okay.
move, like they spread and stuff, but like the nacelle actually runs underneath
But
the
wait,
feather.
did anyone think that the actual metal of the feather was the nacelle?
Well, I thought it was like an outer casing of it, but really it's just a protective shielding around it. Like it has
Right,
no.
so that's where the nacelles are. I think we're saying the same thing.
No, like the nacelle.
We
If you
got
go
there.
back.
Oh no.
Anyway,
Everybody push up your glasses. The Athena's beautiful. That's the point. She looks like an owl.
The reserve nacelles in the saucer section, you never really saw. I don't think. Did you ever see the reserve
They're
nacelles
more like the
that they made
Defiant.
reference to?
Dan,
it's
do you
more
want to be a
like
bitch and tell him to look for a blue line?
That wasn't to you. That was to Matt, you dumb bitch. Yes.
That was everyone rewind 1 minute and rewatch that.
I know you are, but what am I?
Dan was
Everyone-
mean to me. Clock it.
Okay.
It was at
you know you
59
killed the
minutes.
pilot, Trev. He had a family too.
I want
You're
to
all
be very
pretty.
clear. I was being a bitch to Matt specifically.
Well, keep the feathers out your mouth. Just keep the I love the feathers out of your mouths.
She's so pretty.
Leave the
She's a
feathers alone.
gorgeous-
And
It's
the
a
atrium.
gorgeous ship.
And we
It's
finally have a good use
high.
for the neck.
Yes.
Yeah.
I beg your pardon.
Stairs. Be sure to support the net. Anyway, speaking
have
of the
que-
ship, we should go
I have-
back to it unless Trevor has something else to say.
I have proportion questions with regard to the window.
I think I have the same questions, but
I'm
programmable
concerned.
matter is going to be my headcanon, and I'm going to insert it here.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the ship though and talk about the cadets on the bridge. Everybody had something to do. I fucking loved all of these scenes. Number one, my girl Jet Reno. I would follow that bitch anywhere. I love this show leaning into its premise. She is a commander. She has crazy engineering experience across two very different yet somehow similar centuries. She's a coach. She's teaching the like literal teachable moments with everybody. B for the attitude. Like she just did such a fucking great job, and all of the cadets really did too. Like all of them. Like Tarima, I find annoying generally speaking. This episode, I thought she was fucking great, and like we've talked about this before. I don't care about the relationship. I'm happy for them. You found each other. This episode, it worked for me. They're like, okay, I don't get it, but you guys love each other, and Betazoid superpowers, nemesis moment, make it work, and it did. And when she said I love you too, because like clearly he had said it mentally, like everything. My girl Genesis and Sam making up, like I'm all over the place. Who wants to talk about literally any of the cadets or Jet Reno? Trevor.
Well, I really wanted to talk about her sister Janet, but Jet, like I was both shocked but also loving it, like because she was always just there for the comic relief of it all and to like throw in one line of technobabble and keep moving. And I love how Tig has been asked in multiple interviews if she understands it, and she's like, I have no idea what I'm saying, which is just so much fun that she just is rattling all this off with absolutely no concept of what any of it means. But yeah, give me Captain Reno someday. Which, speaking of, I loved the round the bridge I commander, Caleb saying I captain and her saying not a captain. That was just fun for me.
Okay.
Although technically the commander of a ship becomes the commander. I beat you to it, Matt.
She
Well, no,
wasn't
but, like,
she wasn't the commander of the ship. She was acting XO and she took the bridge in the captain's absence.
Matt wants to conjure O'Brien and Nog talking on the bridge of the Defiant about.
It's just my only one comment that I was gonna make with this whole thing, and then I'll shut up. I swear. I do
I
wish
swept it away from you.
Well, no, because I do. My only thing is like, if you're, she was fantastic. I have zero notes except one asterisk of if you're teaching cadets proper bridge etiquette, like technically she should have had them call her captain. Like she was the commanding officer of the ship. Like only because they were cadets, I
don't
kind of
think
wish that
bridge
she would have done
etiquette
it.
was top of mind
I know. I'm just saying.
during
Like,
this situation. For
And the
them.
the commanding officer of the Athena was not lost. She was kidnapped. No one called Commander Riker captain when Picard was kidnapped.
yeah, they did.
No, they
Troy
didn't.
literally said, she was like, "You are the captain now. Like he is not here.
Girl,
you have
please,
to take over."
please go back and watch a fun show called Star Trek.
Give me a break. She was getting that.
I also, yeah, I also
headcanon
think
is
it's
not
just.
canon.
I think Jet thinks of herself as a grease monkey. Like she doesn't want to. She doesn't see herself as that. She's too
and
humble.
I do love that. Yeah.
I think it's right for the character. They're in a crisis,
and that's
I just
what,
wanted
like,
to say.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk now.
Benji, keep going. Don't let anybody
I
interrupt
have.
you again. Not even me doing it right now. Go.
I'm just so blown away. Like, so I've been watching like Tig Notaro's career. I think like literally 20 years when she first showed up in another Star Trek Stars show, the Sarah Silverman program, playing a cop character, and I was like, who is this interesting person? And I've been following her ever since. She's like an incredibly funny comic, obviously. Thrilled to have her in Discovery. But like, man, has her acting evolved since Discovery. Like she was brought in, I guess, for comedic relief, so a little wooden. But like this episode was all her, and I'm just like proud of this person whose career I've been following forever. I've been through like listening to her podcast and all her stuff going on with her family and her health and everything, and it's just like phenomenal to see where she's ended up. And I was like so happy that she was brought into Star Trek originally. So like the fact that we were here today is fantastic.
She's an
I don't know. Yeah, fantastic. And yeah, my other thing with this scene was Tarima just like finally showing up. I felt like almost like Troy in Encounter at Farpoint, also in Askant. Like there's like one episode where she's like a total badass and is like doing everything right and is like, you know, leading people and coaching people. That's what she was giving for me this episode. So I do hope we get to see that character next season because she was finally great.
Yeah. Like nudging Caleb, like, hey, I get it. It's two very important lives versus trillions. And letting him in.
That was like, like how much better is that than like the needs of the many? Like, I think that's a much better.
It didn't even occur to me that would have been conjured, but then somebody else said it, and it was like, it was a different way of communicating the same.
It's a much
thing.
more thoughtful way to communicate that sentiment.
But I love that it wasn't just it's two lives versus trillions. She said it's two very important lives. Like we're not losing sight of how important they are to all of us. One in particular to you, but also come into my mind space. I'm going to bring flowers onto the bridge. Sneezed. Trevor, you want a banner or something, don't you?
No, I'm just holding up my pencil. So
I thought. I don't know why, but every once in a while when I see you twirling your writing utensil, I think you're trying to like
cast a spell
or something. But I tried to get there, I couldn't. But Tarima, Caleb, sexy, he's hot.
Problematic gay alert.
I was gonna go with "come in my mind space," but.
Problematic gay alert.
My girl Genesis had to pee, but she got her moment on the chair.
So that's my nitpick of the week.
Go for it.
As someone who often has to go to the bathroom, I wanted that moment to just sit and let her have her moment. Let her own the captain's chair. So I was a little frustrated by that. I guess it was funny, but I was frustrated, like, especially given the spiral she's been on and, and wanting to be a captain, and even the question, like, what are my orders, right? And, Jet gives her the con, and I just wanted her to take the chair and everybody be like, yeah, bitch. You know? So
I definitely
It
want that in
didn't
season
humanize her.
2. I want the yes bitch in the chair moment next season for sure. But I kind of liked, because she's been so uptight this season, that she was the one to cut the tension when she got that moment. It was like, ah, shit. I just got here. I just got out of my car, but now I need to pee. Damn it. But I feel you.
No, I feel like she's been ready all season. She's just, and I thought it was cheap, really. I thought it was cheap. I thought it undermined. It didn't humanize her anymore. I thought it would have been. I agree with Joanne. Just give her fucking moment. She's been everybody's, eldest sibling the entire season. Give her the moment of eldest sibling in the chair. We didn't. There was no. It came across as cheap because it didn't give us anything. You didn't get anything in the exchange, like even having a conversation about it.
Yeah, I guess we don't even get like a few exchanges of her like giving commands or anything like that.
That-
That would have made up for it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it doesn't. I'm going to push back on this. I think.
Speaking of, will you do pushback? I'm going to go pee real quick.
Oh, good for you, girl. I think that maybe there's an obsession with being the captain and it being the chair. Like that's what it means to be the captain, to sit in the center chair. And I think she exemplified what a captain is when she goes and talks to Sam and kind of talks her off the ledge and starts talking to her. That being a captain is more than just barking orders. It's about keeping your crew together and thinking about them holistically. And I think that makes her that's why she's the captain of the group. So if we were going to put them on their own ship, she's the captain, because she had multiple times in the season, in this episode alone, where she told Caleb to stop talking because doesn't need him to use up their air. Like that moment where it's like, you just don't need to say anything, just stop. I get the joke, but I think it underplays the fact that the chair is the important thing. It's that later on, when she goes, I'm going to go talk to Sam, that's what it means to be a captain, not when you sit in the chair.
So I could see that. I could see where she sits in it and goes, this is completely anticlimactic.
Yeah. She might have just been excited to sit in and goes, oh God, I think I have to pee. Which is
not
like, oh, I think it shows some of her character where it's like, I think I have to pee, where that could be nerves, excitement, whatever it is. But it meant more to her because I think she does the captain thing. Like, how often does Picard go, okay, I got to go, and goes and runs off to go talk to someone? Like, I mean, it happens so often that maybe I feel like I can see how it undercuts it, but I think that she shows what it is to actually be a captain rather than just sitting in the seat later in the episode. Literally, the next make following that
any show of Darum getting the con. It was literally like, okay, it's you. I gotta go. Well,
he calls her captain. I thought that was really cute. Where he was like, "Aye, captain." He's just like, "I'm not sitting in it,"
Yeah.
It may have been more fun for her to verbally acknowledge that sitting in the chair was like, I'm seeing a best of both worlds here, pun intended, of saying, "Hey, you finally got to sit in the chair." She's like, I had to pee the whole time. Like some kind of acknowledgement that wasn't all that it was meant to be, all that she had built it up to be, but also giving her the pan in and just like letting it be.
Yeah.
And then
she's
letting
still not
her
ready.
pee.
She has a place to grow. The next time she sits in the chair, she's probably not going to say she needs to pee.
Right.
And a place to go.
What if she could pee in the chair?
Honestly,
what the
Then it
only
would be like Matthew McConaughey's Winnebago.
Didn't they say at one point that they were going to use transporters to transport people's waste out of their bodies? Wasn't there a thing about that where someone said,
You're
"How did
thinking
it
of Family
on
Guy."
a starship?" And then
No, you're thinking of
there was something about this where they
no,
were like, "Oh,
Will, I know exactly what you're thinking of, and I hate that I know what you're thinking of. You're thinking in Harry Potter. She was saying that they did that.
They just magic. They just poop and it just goes away. Yeah. Thank you. I knew it was something.
I hate that I know that about Harry Potter.
Then why is there a talking bathroom? Anyway, I don't understand.
Well, wait, but I want to say one thing about this. I didn't mind the whole pee gate, but I think there could have been a funnier moment where that could have paralleled back to Ake first sitting in the chair, where she goes and then the chair just like goes up and down trying to adjust to her height, and then she just stands up and goes, never mind, and just like you can tell that the chair, there's somebody new sitting in it, so it tries to adjust to that height, but because of the power fluctuations.
And at least she sat in it respectfully. Just kidding. I love Nahla Ake.
Or she should have like thrown herself in and been like.
To be fair, that's a Holly Hunter thing. She did that in Succession as well.
Mm.
She didn't sit in chairs normally.
She didn't even in this episode too. I love
it. That's what she's bringing to the character. It's not like
I don't think I've ever sat in a chair properly. Like I have no issue.
Yeah.
But have you peed in a chair?
Not on purpose.
Not since 6th grade, which is too late to be doing that, I acknowledge.
And for our new segment called Stan
goes
to therapy.
Where's the weirdest place you've ever peed?
The Stan lore, no. The Doctor had a hero moment, and we got some lovely time between him and his daughter.
A jacket emitter.
Yeah, a jacket emitter. We finally found the emitter, and we got a Shaka when the walls fell kind of moment. I loved it. Who has thoughts on the Doctor finally getting to hollow explode all of his stuff everywhere?
Wow.
Maybe we'll take that back in and say instead communicating with Sam how to solve the problem. It is what it is. All right. Other thoughts on anybody else on the ship?
I don't want to just be the one talking the whole time, but I do have a thought.
Well, did he know how to solve it? Matt, you're the Voyager nerd. Was this a Voyager solution that
no,
how the Doctor knew?
Okay, so here's actually, thank you for setting that up, the perfect segue, Joanne, about what I actually wanted to comment on. I wish instead of because they stabilized the hundreds of minds of Omega that are around the Federation, I do really, really wish that he would have brought up the fact that Seven created a way to neutralize them instead. And I wish he would have harkened back, because no, they never figured out a way to stabilize them on Voyager. They found a way to destroy it safely, but they didn't stay. And so now we have all these hundreds of Omega-47 molecules in minds out that are now stabilized, which in theory
is technically different.
Well, no, I was just gonna say, like, but now that means that we've stabilized Omega. Like, we achieved what we've been trying to do that the Borg couldn't even do. So now we have these unlimited sources of power just laying around. Like, I do kind of wish that instead of stabilizing
I think they probably picked them up, Matt. I don't think they just left
them
there.
But I just mean, like, it seemed like all of a sudden, oh, hey, we have a solution to this problem that no one else could figure out for the last 800 years.
Well, and some other nerds said something about them being synthetic, and that made a difference. I don't know. It was nerd shit.
I mean, I guess that.
I love Joanne asking a question and then shitting on the answer. Some nerd shit.
I mean, but I do think it would have been more like, I do think it would have been interesting if he had mentioned, like, I remember what happened on Voyager, like when this, because they've been very careful to not mention Voyager or anything about Voyager in this, which it's been 800 years, so it makes sense. Like, he's had hundreds of different, ships that he served on. But it would have been interesting if they would have been like, oh, here's a way to, because basically, I mean, in Voyager, the way they destroyed it was like resonating, like harmonizing it. So
I could have swear they mentioned Voyager once or twice.
What? They did.
Not in this episode, but they've mentioned Voyager.
Right.
In relation to the Doctor.
Yeah, and I think
they've alluded to what he did, but
it's the time. I think it's the amount of time that it would take and distract from this episode to get, like,
probably
when Sam died, it made sense for him to say, I owe you an explanation for why I couldn't take your hand. I had a child once. Like, it fit that episode. Here, it would have been like, we have a ticking clock until we can get to New Spraka. Like,
I think
Let
a
me-
first
let me-
draft. I think reading a first draft of any script would answer like a lot of our nitpicks on the salon.
Yeah.
because they have to cut things like that down for time. They just
Yeah.
do. But I kind of agree with you. Like they do. First of all, I think they do actually. It does. The molecule does stabilize like at the very end of the episode as they're like running away and destroy it. So like they did successfully do it. So I do kind of agree with you, Matt. That it would have been nice if that's where the solution came from.
I also think it would have felt a little small universe. Like imagine for a moment
Maybe
the Omega episode did not happen. And now imagine the Doctor saying, well, when I was on Voyager 800 years ago, we ran into natural Omega and here's what we did. Like I think it would have just been distracting.
Maybe, yeah.
It just answers. It's like
was
it's just like why would the Doctor know the answer to that other than that?
I mean, and that's what I think is like it all of a sudden the Doctor knows how to stabilize Omega. Kind of to me came out of nowhere because I was like, well,
it is
like,
kind of 1,000 years in the future from what you're talking about. So you would
Which
think
I
that
do, yeah,
that amount
yeah.
of time that he might have been like, oh, he might have thought about it at some point or had some knowledge
she
about
both?
it. I mean, it's
how she both.
It's also 1,000 years. So he's like, oh, we could do that, and it's just like, oh, people maybe didn't think about it at the time, or maybe other people. You don't know, but it.
Oh yeah, yeah. I
like-
love that. Don't get me
Or
wrong.
like
I love the
Joanne
solution
said,
either
it's
way.
just nerd shit.
It's nerd shit.
One more piece of
Bigger
nerd shit.
question.
I didn't find it that jarring that he would understand what that was. I
I
don't.
think
I
it was
didn't
jarring.
know
I was just
that.
like, okay.
The bigger question I have is, haven't we moved past the time that the mobile emitter was built, and why does
Yes,
it still have the
yes.
old one?
It's ancient
400 years
technology
out
now.
of date.
Yeah.
Why didn't you get a new one?
It's
Sentimental
300 years
reasons.
old.
Yeah.
It could just be the old.
Sentimental
Ace.
reasons.
Here's my
That's or
wait. I
something.
didn't think that he was using it though. I thought it was just like he had it. Like that was his thing that he. This is like his piece of himself. But I didn't
Yeah,
think he was
I think
just
it was like
using it all.
I think you're right. I think it was like his blanket, right?
Yeah. I think he just kept it with him.
His
Like
blanket.
that's his mobile emitter he's had for hundreds of years. And like he handed it off. That's why he could take it off and like hand it to her. And then he was like download it into this and do that.
Yeah.
But didn't when they took it away, he regenerated once from the emitter, I thought.
I'll have to go back and look at the close.
Because he went from the
into it
computer
and
to
then
the
it-
emitter.
He from the
Yeah.
emitter, and it disappeared into the it disappeared into the programmable matter on the console.
It's like an
So I think
extension
it
cord.
that is like him
Something
theoretically.
Receiver.
Sounds like nerd
Joanna,
shit
you
to
can
me.
thank me for even more nerd shit now. See that? There you go.
So much nerd
But-
shit.
Ken,
So
to
I were
answer,
talking about the science in a science fiction TV show. Fuck
Yeah.
my ass, right?
Well, I mean,
Shut up.
seriously, what are we doing?
Shit. We're talking about the science in a science fiction TV show. So we should be talking about
all
that.
right, calm down.
Well, actually,
I mean, you really need me to say that. I mean, is that your attempt to do me?
yeah.
Have me
Maybe,
record it well,
yeah.
actually. Will you please? That's
What?
that's-
Someone
that's
hasn't been
insulting.
watching the show because we've used that quite a bit since you.
I know. I get annoyed every single time. I do not watch
Clearly.
the show.
But Ken brings up an interesting point. Stan, when exactly did you try to morph Ken and Marmaduke? Because that's exactly what it sounds like.
I don't even remember when I did that. During
probably
season 3, probably, of Strange New Worlds, and I was probably high. Speaking of, is there anything about this episode we haven't yet talked about?
The pictures at the end.
Super
Oh.
cute.
Oh.
Super cute.
I like that Reno looked like the picture was taken. She was at a Dead concert. Like
Literally, yeah.
The one for
I'm in that train.
the notes for Darum's was a little inappropriate to be next to a picture of a child if you happen to freeze frame on them. They were a little. It was a little spicy, and it was a little yeah.
Oh, it looks like we got to go back and freeze frame them now.
All right. But
I
before
thought
we
you would have. I fully anticipated a whole portion of this show to be all
I
pictures.
I thought about it, and then I was like, well, it's not canon. It was just a cute way of doing the end credits. But
Well, because it was the end of the school year, so it was like
Yeah,
their
yeah,
yearbook.
no, I got it.
You just
It was canon. It's just
Stan, have you ever had a yearbook? Did anyone ever sign your yearbook?
TOS Klingon first. Yeah.
I'm sorry, that wasn't nerdy enough.
No,
I
thank
have. Can I
I'll
make
just
my
let
nitpick
you
of the
guys go
episode?
back to talking
My
about
nitpick-
the flex capacitor.
But where were the nacelles, Krista? That's what's important here.
All right.
they're right here, the blue
Salty.
part.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna pull up
Will-
the picture I'm talking about.
Will, what is your nitpick?
Well, okay. So my nitpick is that they said that they're the class of 3196. But everyone's saying, oh, so the show takes place in 3196. No, it would
No.
technically take place in 3192 because
Right.
you're the class of, and that's the year you graduate, not the year you
Right.
start the program.
Yeah, I
So
think
everyone's
you're
like,
right.
that's a well
and I'm like,
actually.
no, you
That's
guys missed
that
that
is
up. It's not when that's taking place.
Will actually.
Fuck
And-
you. I'm
Oh,
not a
my
nitpick.
problem is that-
Well,
my
actually,
problem-
it was my nitpick. I was like, they shouldn't be that. That shouldn't be it. It should be the class of. It should be the class of 3200 then.
So I
Yeah.
do want to
Mhm.
ask clarification on this from somebody because I was looking at the Trek movie
Oh.
write up of it,
And they said
Like-
that the confirmation this takes place at this date. And I was like,
Yeah,
no,
they messed out.
but I don't think that's necessarily the case because I think it was just a cute play for the end credits because like Noose Bracca's on there. He's not in the class of 3196.
fine.
I think
Oh, I see.
it wasn't. I don't think it
Oh.
was class of. I think it was just their way of saying this is the year it is.
The year of, yeah.
So I think it was
Oh.
year of.
I think you
okay.
just actually his actually.
Yeah,
you
well,
know what?
whatever.
Will actually.
All right, you got to stop this.
Because then
How did Pen get through the mute? How did
All
he
right.
get through the mute?
Yeah.
my nitpick though is like I would have liked at least like an earlier year for like Lura Thok and like Nahla Akiz could have been like 400 years earlier. That would have been fun. But
That sounds
that-
like a actually.
gotta go on.
Well, actually,
Will actually. Trevor, can I ask you a question, please?
Better than anyone I know.
Thank you. Will
Oh, you wanted me
answer
to-
the ship,
I didn't know
please?
you wanted me to do something. Sure. There were 2 problematic gay alerts. There was 1 canon alert. There was 1 tosser alert. There were 4 Kenwell actualies. Joanne taught a bitch how segues work once. Matt did an impression of a cartoon villain once. And Matt gesticulated wildly because of pew-pews once. I gave 500 bonus points to Krista for dangling her participle. I gave her an additional 50 bonus points for fun with Furbies. I gave 250 bonus points to Ken for having flashbacks and being very open about it. I gave 350 bonus points to Joanne for being excited and holding a grudge. I gave her an additional 50 points for not having time for nerd shit. I gave 990 bonus points to Will for wigging out about wigs under my wig. I gave 6,900 bonus points to Benji for clocking the masturbatory habits of ship nerds. I gave 250 bonus points to Matt for shipping the shippiest of ships, but not shipping the ships, and also forgetting which ship was which. And last but not least, I gave 100,000 bonus points to Caleb Muir for staying in Starfleet in that snug ass uniform.
Problematic gay alert.
There were 3 problematic gay alerts.
And with that, our semester comes to an end. I'm so bummed we're not getting any more Starfleet Academy for probably a year until season 2 comes out. But what a wonderful season it was. We will be talking about this season in full next week, 6:30 p.m. Pacific, with special guest Matt Jennings joining us. So please join us next week here at Salon Trek in all of the places. And please, until then, do live long and prosper.
All hands abandon ship. Proceed to the nearest evacuation zone immediately.